from Life and Dive Butler. Gotta get that right. And we're at the Monaco Yacht Show, as you all see and probably hear from all the background noise. So apologies if it's a little loud, but very excited to have you on here, Alexis.
Thank you, Natalia. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. How far have you traveled to be with us?
Well, in this case, not too far. I just came from Mallorca, but the day before I was in the Maldives, so that was a long run.
Oh my goodness. So we're talking about luxury as a theme. Well, Maldives, that must be such an amazing experience.
Well, Maldives is a unique place on earth, that's for sure, yeah. Especially in regards to marine life and deserted islands and, of course, luxury hotels, and a lot of yachts come.
Absolutely. So this is what your company's about, right? It's tell us a bit more about what you guys do, because you've got two aspects to it.
We have two elements. Yeah, in 2008, we founded Dive Butler when there was a starting need for individual courses, especially in scuba diving, and with a very human connection approach. So that led into having yachts starting to visit, and they wanted the same service, and then it just kind of escalated from there. So a lot of people say strategy, business strategy, and planning, and all this. That never really happened for us because it just evolved organically.
Oh, wow.
And our biggest thing is really the human connection element of it, because a compressor, a tank, a boat, if you don't have the right people, then there's no soul.
Absolutely, and many charter companies talk about that in the sense that it's about the crew. The most important of the element that is going to make a customer happy is the crew, and making sure that they're pampered and looked after in the right way. So this is a service that you provide more on a global scale. We're not talking about yachting specifically, we're talking about an experience, a travel experience, right?
Well, correct. We have a number of offerings. I mean, our basic offering is dive schools in the Maldives, and we have 3. And then we have what we call the yacht division from a perspective of Dive Butler. Yachts, and this is really helping the captains and the principals and the PA or whoever happens to be our client to create an itinerary that's dive specific, but it can also be snorkel specific, anything to do with water really. And then we basically hold the hands of the client and go to some of the most remotest places on the planet. And with Life Butler, we do the same. You know, in order to do yoga or to get a great massage therapist or even some mindfulness coaching and so on, you can bring that anywhere. So it's not yacht specific, although the majority of our business is on yachts.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So that's why you're here, you to sort of talk about more about what your offering is to the yacht crew. And
correct. Right. I mean, we're very lucky because here we have Laura also, and she's permanently based in Monaco. So we have a Monaco office. How prestigious is that, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And so if anyone wants to talk to Alexis or Laura, that's obviously something that you can do and find out maybe things that people didn't think about before. I think that's your forte, right?
Well, I think we're very good at asking the right question, and I think it's key to ask the right question, because otherwise you can just blab about the services that one offers eternally, but ultimately it's all about the client.
Right.
And I find that asking their story really brings out their passion, and then we can fill in the gap. But this is where a little bit of magic happens. Then we start anticipating, proposing options that perhaps are slightly outside of the comfort zone, a little bit edgy, just pushing that boundaries a little further, and therefore creating memorable moments and experiences.
Wonderful. So could you tell us a bit more about specifically what a client who really got that boundary push and was blown away?
Well, I think diving, from a diving perspective, somebody who's afraid of the water, there's a lot of people that are afraid of the water, just taking a first breath underwater can be one of those elements. So that in itself is pushy and edgy. So again, see that the story can be as vast and as one can be. So for somebody else to put edgy is to be put in a channel in French Polynesia with 400 sharks around you.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah. You like that?
That's edgy, for me. But again, like I said, the first breath underwater, for some people, that's really a huge step, and it really boosts your self-confidence in many ways.
That's my thing. I'm very scared of the sea. Would you believe it or not? I'm surrounded by it, but getting my head under a few meters is not my thing. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you make your way to the Maldives, I'll make sure to hold your hand and make sure that you have a wonderful experience.
You see, it's all about having that person who's going to lead you into
everything is about trust.
Oh,
absolutely.
That's fantastic. Great. You're passionate about diving. Obviously, this is how the company started. One question you probably get asked a lot is, where's your favorite diving ground?
Well, again, it's about asking the right question for different reasons, different people, different places. Yeah. I really like big fish, so sharks is my thing. Again, the Pacific overall is wonderful. The Maldives is great because of great abundance of, but ultimately anything that's new, after you've done a certain amount of dives, then it's about more the newness. So even wonderful dives in the Mediterranean where you don't necessarily see many fish, but you have a history there. There's wrecks, there's I'm 4 hours underwater. Just recently I was in Crete and I just loved it out there. So I would say Indonesia is wonderful, Fiji is wonderful, the whole Pacific is wonderful, the Maldives is wonderful. The Med has amazing hidden spots that most people overlook when they want to say they want to go diving. And of course the Caribbean and even the west coast of the US, Mexico, and even South America, Central America are beautiful.
I heard that there's a museum underwater in Spain somewhere. Have
you heard about this? You must tell me. I'll have to go check it out.
This is a new thing, and basically you're diving and seeing wonderful statues and artworks underwater, which is a whole new dimension to having done the museum 100,000 times.
It might have been in Ibiza. Is that maybe I heard about that project.
We'll look into that.
Well, definitely. You must let me know.
Fantastic, yeah. And also, I just wanted to find out, because the program is Luxury with Natalia, and I like to ask people what their definition of luxury is. So would you mind telling me what your thoughts are on that?
When one lives in an environment surrounded by wonderful yachts, great villas, great restaurants, Michelin stars, butlers, and so on, one can easily get, I think, in my personal opinion, that you can get distracted to what really truly matters. And in my world, what truly matters is the connection that you make with people and the experiences that you share with them. In an area where there's less people as possible. This is, for me, is true luxury, is when you're alone in a location, possibly almost nobody has ever been before. That's true luxury.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And I think I'd agree. Sign up to go on my wonderful holiday.
Right now.
Amazing. We're going to leave the Monaco Yacht Show and we're going to fly off to paradise. Nah, it's okay here. We're quite happy with what's going on. The show is great. How's it going for you?
Very good. It's the first day, but already we've had quite a few meetings, and every single show is different, and new adventures to be created.
Amazing. So I know you're very busy, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Natalia.
Tune in, everybody, for the next episode this afternoon with Luxury with Natalia. We'll be talking with Ocean Independence, so look forward to that. And thanks again, and have a great show.
Thanks, Natalia.
Thanks.
All the best.
Okay, bye.